seen you talking about, and this sort of pulls us back to something you said earlier, which is an absolutely fantastic quote. Did you the capitalism has been taken prisoner by the top 1%? Like, did you just think of that on the spot?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I read an awful lot. I've been described by one of my friends as a quote machine, and things just jump out of your head. Sometimes it's a line from a song, sometimes it's a line from a Warren Buffett book or something else that you've read, and it just seems to fit the particular scenario that you're trying to describe. And there's some lines that fit so many different scenarios, and they just jump out then, and sometimes you feel you've described something well, maybe sometimes less so, but it just comes to mind.
Yeah, and because it's a discussion I've been having especially with a lot of quite prominent left-wingers on the show, one of them being Paul Mason, whose interview will be out by the time this goes out, actually. Who's a self-admitted Marxist. And I've been trying to ask them whether they think it's capitalism or corruption is the problem, because I tend to believe it's corruption, and quite a lot of them tend to think that capitalism itself is the problem. Like, do you have a take on that issue?
I would totally agree with you. I suppose I've always, when we spoke about the utopia earlier on, I suppose if you had a form what I would call benign capitalism, that's what would work. I think the capitalist system makes a lot of sense in that you've got less money being wasted, you've got money being put to productive use, you've got a lot of innovation and so on. It drives all of that. I think the corruption, an awful lot of what we look at, and we look at stock markets and so on, and to my mind, they're ultimately all driven by fear and greed. And obviously the corruption is driven by greed as well. Greed of the people who want to bend the rules in their favor, and maybe the greed of the rule makers who want to facilitate them. And that's really, in my opinion, that's where the problems lie, rather than in the system itself. And we know, obviously, there are many countries where you've got, Marxist type governments, and there's a huge amount of corruption there as well. So I think it's the greed that drives the corruption rather than the economic system or political system that they live in.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening. Screw the hedge funds.
You can make as many rules as you want, but if there's no teeth behind them, what's the point?
Well, like Citadel is potentially just gone in a few months. It feels like financial institutions, that they are all laughing at us by buying GME. Screw the hedge funds. Like, I will lose my entire investment if it brings them down.
Why on earth, last May, could you buy the entire company for $200 million?
What's been happening on Reddit and in social media and in the marketplace has never been seen before.
I argue that nothing is off the table. There is nothing off the table when dealing with the volumes of money in something as big as the United States stock market.
The hedge funds have clearly underestimated a group of people raised on Friday night World of Warcraft raids.
Dark pools, they're another mechanism to manipulate and cheat. Mainstream journalists don't say these things for a number of reasons. One is their sources are the people that I'm talking about, and so they can't call somebody a crook.
Superstonk and the other communities that have emerged are a hive mind, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's madness and brilliance, insanity and genius all rolled into one. It's very possible that Citadel will be gone in a few months. And not just Citadel, but the entire financial system has the potential to come crashing down. These crooks continue to gamble recklessly with the world economy, and this could be the moment that they finally get their justice.